Hello reformers, and welcome back to Gekokujo 3.1. Now, when we left off, we just created our own faction in the Nanbu territory in the north of Japan. And, well, we have a bunch of companions to level up here, so I thought we might as well go through most of them, because they're going to have multiple levels, and I thought it might be quite interesting to see what's actually happening with them. We're just going to continue leveling Mori like that, because she is an absolute beast with throwing weapons and one-handed. I think she's probably going to leave soon, because she does have a problem with, I think it is Mei Ling, so yeah, she's probably going to leave soon, but that's okay. That's absolutely fine. I don't really mind, because she's going to be very, very useful to us before that happens, hopefully, and otherwise we're just going to level up these guys with relative ease, because, you know, they just need power strike and some weapon master eventually, of course. Probably pretty soon, actually, they need weapon master. So I'm going to start leveling a bit of agility here, and I think we'll just go for 1 in weapon master right now, just to make sure that everything's okay. And yeah, then Mei Ling, of course, who is probably our greatest warrior at the moment. And we're going to be increasing her riding skill or power throw. I don't know, really. I think the riding skill would be a little bit better, I guess. And we'll just improve her throwing weapons and two-handed a little bit as well. She's using really, really nice weapons as well. I mean, look at that. I mean, obviously the throwing weapons are not that great, but everything else seems pretty reasonable. Anyway, as you can see here, I'm prepared for another siege. However, we have just come across this guy who has been walking around our territory. Now, I did say in the previous episode that I was going to get over here and prevent the village from being raided. Well, that's the funny thing. I literally got to about here, and then it got looted, and I thought, okay, no point. So I just went back and forth between Sado and Katsuyama Castle. As you can see, it has 178 people in there now, which is pretty good. Pretty nice defense. And hopefully that's going to mean that it will be pretty decently defended, and as we have it right now, we have a person to fight, and I'm pretty happy about that, because that will mean that we'll gain a little bit more experience for our companions, and it will also weaken the surrounding territories. I was actually thinking maybe we might be able to take the Nanbu clan's only town, which is the closest fief to us. So I thought, maybe it would be a good idea to try it out, but obviously it's probably going to be one of those things where I say, oh yes, it would be really nice to do that, but then I never do it. Yeah, it's probably one of those, but yeah, maybe I'm going to, you know, surprise you at some point, and we're going to just take it out of the blue or something like that, but no, it seems like we're probably just going to have this sort of standard strategy when it comes to dealing with bigger factions, well, bigger factions than ourselves, that is. And I think what we're going to probably do is take the castle to the east, I think, because if it has relatively similar amounts of units in the garrison there, then I think that's probably going to be the best way to go, because if we decide to do something that is so dramatically, you know, outnumbering us, because I believe the town has over 600 units there, and if we decide to do that, we're probably going to end up regretting it, because I believe the castle that we actually took, Katsuyama Castle, I believe that was actually kind of like, it's not easy, but I think that it was kind of a bit touch and go, because if we had just taken a little bit longer, or, you know, or whatever the case may be, because there are, you know, a couple of bugs when you decide to do a siege. Ow! Okay, I did get shot. Well, I suppose that's going to happen. But anyway, there are a couple of bugs that basically mean that the enemy spawns in some weird positions. And usually I don't really mind that. But when you're obviously pitting your entire existence with your newly created faction, then obviously it's a bit difficult to, you know, put it all on the line, because you're not going to be like, oh yes, I'm just going to go with 100 units and try and go up against 600. I mean, that's quite insane. I mean, yeah, it could probably work if I had a whole army of Asakura Umayumis. As you can see here, they're actually doing an exceptional job, as per usual. I mean, as long as they outnumber the enemy, I don't think there's anything they cannot do. But obviously that's the thing. As long as they outnumber the enemy in the amount that they have, you know, not just my entire army as a whole, but the specialist units that we have here. Obviously, they're the ones that are going to make the most difference. And if we had 125, which I think is our maximum company size at the moment, but if we had 125 Umayumis or Hatamoto archers or Hatamoto guards or anything like that, pretty sure we'd be able to take basically anything. With some casualties, of course, but that is to be expected. But as it is right now, I have some pretty mid-tier to low-tier units in my army. You know, I'm mainly referring to the veteran Utari swordsmen and the Sado returnees, because these guys, they're not great. You know, they're not great. They're fine. You know, they're actually fine. They're usable, serviceable, whatever you want to say. But in general, I don't know. I'm not going to put too much faith in them. That's the main thing there, because if I put, you know, the entire existence of the faction on these mid-tier units, it's probably going to end up being an absolute slaughter, and we're just going to die. So, I mean, if you just take a look here, these guys are, you know, they're fine. They're mostly low tier, though. I mean, they have some pretty decent weapons. I think their main weapon here is actually really good. Yeah, as you can see here, it can crush through blocks. It's got a pretty slow speed, but the weapon reach is pretty decent, and they are very, very lightly armored, so you can kind of imagine that they're going to be absolutely destroyed against any form of archer. On the other hand, though, we do have these Sado returnees, which are basically the same kind of unit, but with slightly different gear. As you can see here, they have a bit heavier armor, and they have a wide variety of different weapons that they can use, but on the whole, you need to be very, very careful about what you decide to attack. And, you know, I'm trying to live by that kind of motto because, you know, there are some times when I'm just like, oh yeah, I'd really like to take that massive, massive fief from that huge faction over there. But no, they've just got 6,000 units in there. Obviously, that's an exaggeration. But anyway, let's have a look here. What is Francisco currently doing for us? Is he actually doing everything? Yes, he is. He's doing absolutely everything. So he's doing the pathfinding, the surgery, the first aid. Okay, well, you're just going to get intelligence, Francisco. I'm terribly sorry. It seems like you're not going to get any stronger, and we're just going to give you... I think we're probably going to give him some first aid, and I think it would be a good idea to get some pathfinding anyway. I think that's actually... it's maybe not even worth it, but we're going to do that just because I want to be a little bit quicker on the world map. You never know, you know, when you need to run away from certain people and everything. So we're just going to go back to Katsuyama Castle real quick. I did want to go to the town or maybe the nearby castle, but I'd like to put in some of these prisoners here. All right. So let's see what we have here. We have 114 now, because obviously wound treatment is working. Maybe I should have got another point in wound treatment. Did I get another point in wound treatment? No, I think I got first aid, didn't I? Ah, well, never mind. I think we have a pretty decent wound treatment already, don't we? Yes, 5 wound treatment is pretty good. Okay, so there is another vassal from the Nanbu clan, and we're not going to be outnumbering them this time. I'm actually unsure. Do you want to attack me? He does. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Come over here, then. Do you want to fight? Okay, fine. Let's do it. Alright, we have 118 versus 132. I hope I've actually restored myself. Yeah, I haven't restored myself very well. Ooh, and the battlefield seems very, very small. Alright, so I'm just going to place our archers all the way back there. Hopefully they're going to be able to shoot relatively well from here. Now, the one thing that I'm mainly relying on right here is obviously our Umayumis. If I don't rely on them, then I suppose, you know, what am I doing? You know, because we have a majority stake in them, and I'd very much like to... Ooh, there we go, there's level 24. And, now I'm dead. Am I dead? Maybe? No? Maybe not? Okay, I'm really, really sad, though, that my horse got taken out there. I was really hoping I wouldn't. And then I get run over by a horse. That is the most annoying thing about fighting on foot. Getting killed by a horse, isn't it? Yeah. Every single time that happens, you get stumbled, and then the person you're fighting decides... Oh yes, now is the time that I'm going to attack, and that's just fantastic. But yeah, I think we're actually going to be fine here. I think. I mean, they mostly have banner carriers, which is the most hilarious thing, even though the banner carriers are extremely deadly, as we found out in previous episodes. But yeah, the most, you know, hilarious thing is that these guys, I mean, yeah, they can do a lot of damage, but they're not really going to get close to our Umayumis, or at least I hope not. That's actually hilarious because they are actually just killing a couple of them now. But on the flip side of that, these banner carriers, they can't really do much when it comes to killing things. So yeah, hopefully they're just gonna, you know, cause everyone to go unconscious, and then we'll just restore ourselves in no time at all. It seems like it might be a good idea for me to actually retreat right now, although is it? Is it? Because we seem to be turning the tide of battle a little bit. And where are their reinforcements? Well, there's our archers. Their reinforcements have not yet spawned in as far as I'm aware, or have they? No, we've actually received reinforcements. I'm a bit worried about that. Well, I suppose there's not much to worry about here, because I think this is a one victory, one battle here, because, well, there's just nothing they can do against horse archers. I personally feel like the horse archers that we have gone for here are really very good. And I remember actually thinking a long time ago, when I was doing the original series for Gekokujo, that the Asakura clan was actually very good. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'd very much like to use some of their units, not in this particular playthrough, but before, and I was just like, yes, let's do that. And obviously they do have Hatamoto archers as well, so if you want to go for an archer-focused army, then I suppose that's the way to go. Now what do I do here? Should I take him prisoner? Yes, I think I will take him prisoner, actually, because I do need the money. Yes, the money is becoming very scarce, and I'm not particularly happy about that, so, well, let's just take as many of these guys as we can, and hopefully I'll find a ransom broker or something along those lines. Yeah, I did not want to take these retainers, thank you very much. I like to take the mounted units, and maybe veteran retainers, I guess, and I don't even know. I don't even know now. Some elites, I guess, I don't know. Alright, so, yeah, there are some other things here that we can, of course, wear, but just gonna let my companions wear them. Yeah, absolutely nothing. They do not care for any of these things. Well, that's absolutely fine. I suppose I could just sell them instead. Alright, so that was actually a very easy fight, wasn't it? Very easy in comparison to what I thought. Oh well, never mind. That's perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. Obviously, Lord Aura is not particularly happy, is he? No, he's not very happy at all now. Okay, so I don't want to raid any of their villages, because you never know when I'm going to actually need to recruit from there for numbers, you know, in garrisons and things like that. Hello, deserters, the village farmers, yeah. Okay, so this is the castle I wanted to go for. Hirosaki has, I believe, 610 or 620 or something like that. Oh, hello, there seems to be another vassal there. I think I'm actually just going to try and kill all of the vassals that I can currently see, and then we're just going to try our best to, you know, select the weakest fief that they own, and then just go for that. That seems to be the way to go. I think I'm actually just going to tell everyone to charge in here. I don't see a necessity to tell them otherwise, because obviously we do have an overwhelming amount of cavalry. We have, actually not an overwhelming amount of cavalry, we have 41 infantry actually on the fields of battle right now, mainly because all of our cavalry have been knocked unconscious by their banner carriers in the previous fight. I believe that's probably where they've gone to, but yeah, let's just hope that my horse does not get killed for a second time, because that's going to mean that they will eventually, you know, he'll eventually become lame, and it's not going to be very good. So hopefully we're going to just, you know, keep him alive. Keep him alive as much as possible. Obviously, I'm the one that really needs to worry about dying here, because I am very low, but I suppose it doesn't really matter, because I can, you know, revive myself, whereas the horse, not so much. You know, if the horse gets killed a number of times, then it's going to get killed forever, and that's not going to be very nice, because this horse in particular is unique, as far as I'm aware, and it's actually a lot better than the standard horses, or at least I think it's a lot better anyway. But yeah, there we go. Let's just allow our people... Oh, okay, so someone wanted something from here. No idea what it was, but it's absolutely fine. There we go. Alright, so Hirosaki, we were going to take a look at that. It is quite dark. Oh, there we go. 611. 611. Okay, so do they have any Hatamoto units? They do not. They do not. Alright, so it might just pay off for us to just go in and attack them. I don't really want to do that, to be honest. I have a bad feeling that we're probably going to get absolutely destroyed. Because, you know what's going to happen, right? It's going to be the battle advantage. The battle advantage is just going to just sap all of our strength, and then that's just going to end up being an absolute travesty. But is it? Is it really? I don't know. I'm just going to rest here for some time, and it seems like, there we go. We're drawing everyone out of hiding by the looks of things, which is actually fine. It's actually not a problem for us to do that, because Lord Ishikawa, didn't we just fight him? Yeah, I think we did just fight him. That is the campaign AI coming into play there, because obviously the campaign AI is on the maximum that it can be, which is actually very annoying at times. So I might actually be turning that down a notch or two, just because having these guys be able to restore their armies extremely quickly, that's always quite annoying, isn't it? I mean, you don't really want to be fighting these guys. I mean, in real terms, it would not take... I don't think it would take, at least, I don't think it would take, in reality, 2 days to regain 100, well-trained soldiers. I really don't think it would take 2 days. It would probably take months, if anything, surely. Or a couple of weeks, if you're actually really quick. But I don't even know how long it's been. It's probably, I don't know, it's been about 5 days, I suppose, since we defeated him. But yeah, I just think that's a bit unrealistic in the grand scheme of things, and maybe just a little bit less, a little bit of a lesser delay on that would actually be, well, shall we say a greater delay on them coming back. I think that would be kind of nice. I am actually getting pretty low on food. Well, that's not good. That is not good at all. Okay, so at least our horse is okay. Should I... Oh. Apparently, yes, apparently this guy is here. Okay, well, it seems like I'm gonna actually be unable to do anything here, so I'm probably just gonna go and head back to Katsuyama Castle. Gonna transfer a couple more units from Sado, because I still have about 120 units over there, so it would be kind of nice to get those here. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and level up probably some Miyoshi clan units, maybe try and get some Hatamoto guards, because I believe that Katsuyama Castle would be completely safe. It probably would be completely safe when it has about 300 units in there, because I have 118 right now, it has about 170, so it's already, around 300, and then I have another 100 in Sado, so it's going to have about 400 units in there, and even if they are low tier, the AI doesn't care about that, so yeah, hopefully that's going to prevent it, at least, from being attacked too easily. There are some pretty decent Nanbu clan vassals here, but they don't have any Hatamoto units. So, oh, this guy does. He has 4, but in general, it's going to be quite easy to deal with. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.